Well, the Appleton School Board meeting this evening to discuss the district's masking policy for the upcoming school year. Now, that meeting coming after the board voted just last month to make masks optional for students. Jason Zimmerman joining us live from the site of where the meeting will take place, and we can see that there are demonstrators behind you. Jason, so if you could, I guess, just give us a sense of the scene and who's behind you right now.
Yeah, Chris, these are all protesters that have started to gather over the last half an hour right outside of the district headquarters in Appleton where this meeting is going to take place. There's probably about 100 people out in the street. We have been told that there's going to be a counter protest out here of people that support having a mask mandate, but so far I haven't seen any of those people. This is all people opposing a decision that could come tonight that would require masking for all students, all faculty, and all visitors to any building or on any district transportation, which would mean a school bus this fall.
Jason, we know, you said you expect a counter protesters there. We know there was some in the form of a petition that was sent to the Appleton School District. How much of a factor do you think that played in this decision tonight to revisit their decision, which was earlier to make them optional?
Well, it was obviously some factor. It's hard to say how big of a factor, but I can tell there's been a couple of petitions. There was one that collected more than 500 signatures. There was also a letter that was sent to both the Appleton School District and the Neenah School District that was signed by more than 100 healthcare workers that were asking for a mandatory masking policy to be put in place. And we're going to see some of these people speaking probably at this meeting tonight. I can tell you that if you are planning to speak, you do have to pre-register. And that registration closed at about noon today. But I was told by the district that 32 people have signed up. 15 will be speaking in person and 17 online. Of course, those 15 people speaking in person will only be allowed inside to speak for their 3 or so minutes, and then they'll have to remain out in a waiting area for the remainder of this discussion, as the Appleton Board has yet to have any in-person meetings since the beginning of this pandemic in March of last year.
All right, Jason, plenty of people speaking behind you. We've seen a police presence behind you as well. Now, you have covered a lot of these meetings. The school district recommended they go to mask mandating, making them mandatory at the end of last week. How often in your experience has the school board gone against the wishes of the school district?
Not too often. In the past year or so, as I've been covering these meetings, it's usually a board that goes on the recommendation of what the superintendent and what district administrators feel is appropriate. At one point a few weeks ago, they did recommend optional masking. That drew some debate, but again, the board went along with that policy. Tonight, they're recommending just the opposite approach, as the number of COVID infections in our area have gone up. Now, on a side note, I can tell you, 2 of the board members, there's normally 7 on this board, 2 have recently resigned. So we have 2 vacancies that the board is going to try to fill tonight. There's 15 people that have submitted their name as a potential candidate. So we're going to have to see what these five remaining board members decide tonight on what's going to be a slightly smaller school board than what we've seen here in the past few months.
All right, Jason, thanks so much. We'll see you again at 5 to preview that meeting. And of course, you'll be covering it for us all night long.
From WBAY TV, your first alert station, Action 2 News starts right now with breaking news.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Cammie has the night off. Officials say nobody is hurt after a large fire at a business in Ledgeview tonight. Jason Zimmerman joins us now live from the scene with the very latest. Jason.
Bill, firefighters have been on the scene since 5 o'clock this afternoon, and they are still fighting this fire right now. Now, the scene right behind me is at the New Hope United Methodist Church and the adjoining Chicago Pub Bar. The firefighters tell me the fires actually started in the roof of the church, and if we look back there, we zoom in, you can see a ladder up there with firefighters on top. They are spraying water down on that roof. And the spot where he's at right now spraying, a backhoe just came through there a few minutes ago. You might be able to see it. It's behind the where the water's being sprayed, and it just knocked down that entire area of the church so that water could get to where some of these flames are. And I can still see some flames back there in the distance that are popping up on and off. We've been seeing that for the past several minutes out here. We'll show you now some video that was shot earlier tonight. I can tell you that almost every fire department in the area is out here right now, a ton of units, more than I can even keep count of. The good news is, though, nobody's been injured. Firefighters tell me they had a few people inside of the Chicago pub when this fire broke out, but everybody got out safely. We did catch up with one of those people who were inside a few minutes ago, and I'll let you listen in to see what that person had to say.
We had just started to eat our popcorn and talking, and the next thing we knew, we were told, you got to get in your vehicle and leave.
Again, firefighters expect to be out here for several hours tonight. I'm going to take a look at another scene out here. If we just pan over there, you can see just how many fire trucks are out here on Chicago Street right now. They are just backed up for quite a ways. And also, a lot of people out here standing around watching as firefighters continue to work on the flames of this church that is currently still on fire, but they hope to have it contained soon out here. But again, they will be out here for several more hours tonight. We'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online. Reporting in Ledgeview Live, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.
WBAY TV, your first alert station. Action 2 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Bill has the night off. Tonight, Oshkosh police are trying to get a standoff to end peacefully, saying a man they say drove away from officers after taking a truck at gunpoint. That man, 38-year-old Richard Crystal. We first told you about the case through our news app. Officers first encountered him last night, but now say he's in a home on the 800 block of Jackson Street. And that is where Jason Zimmerman is standing by live. He's been following the story all afternoon for us. Jason.
Cami, things are unfolding out here pretty fast. Just a few minutes ago, we watched as the SWAT team approached the house with Richard Crystal inside. We heard some bangs, and we assume at the time they were firing some type of gas into the house. We also are hearing announcements right now, and I'm hearing in the background officers saying to Richard Crystal, we can see you inside the house, come out with your hands up. So we do believe that this situation is close to ending. This all started around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and negotiators have been out here all day attempting to negotiate with Crystal. We'll go to some video now that we shot earlier today. You can see outside a SWAT team was present and officers guarding a perimeter much of this afternoon. This all started last night when police attempted to execute an arrest warrant. Crystal was in a truck, and as police approached, he pulled a gun on the driver, forcing him out, and then he fled the scene.
Officers didn't pursue at that point, but today the suspect was located in the 800 block of Jackson Street, and right now our SWAT team negotiators are trying to de-escalate this and bring this to a peaceful resolution.
Now, we are watching the situation, and I can tell you that while you were listening to the sergeant speak, that we did see Crystal come out of the house, and he is under arrest right now as he was being escorted out by the SWAT team. So I can tell you the situation is over, and we should have most of Jackson Street north of downtown Oshkosh reopening soon. Again, we just saw a couple of seconds ago, actually, Richard Crystal being arrested and taken out of the house. So, again, the situation has just been resolved. Reporting live in Oshkosh, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.